PERRINN 4 to 4 podcast. I'm joined by the founder himself, Nico PERRINN. Hi, Nico. How's it going?
Hey, hi, Gorang. That's nice to be with you here again today. Yeah, I'm good. I just have a. I'll be honest, I've got pain in my shoulder, so if you see me moving my shoulder during the podcast, that's why. But it's all good.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Well, just glad to be back after a short break. We kind of had a summer break, but the only difference was we kept our work, going. Unlike the F1 teams who stopped working just during the summer break. So, Nico, today we are tackling a rather hot topic in motorsports, if not all the industries. So, can sustainability and top level performance go hand in hand in motorsport? And what does that really mean for the future of motorsport teams like ourselves?
Yeah, great topic. Really happy to talk about it, and hopefully with the answers and with the discussion today, people get a better understanding of the reason why we are
Absolutely.
invested in sustainability, not on for performance as well.
Yes. Right. Now, a lot of people see a trade off. Is it fair to say achieving both is more difficult? And if yes, where do you see the main constraints from your observations and your experience in the past 8 to 10 years within our organization?
So I guess the question is, what is sustainability?
Yes.
How do we approach it, and why do I think it's going to make us more performant on the long run? You can start looking at the environmental aspects. So let's talk about the car, the electric powertrain, for example. Um, Sustainable because obviously doesn't have any emissions. But I want to really say that really first important point is the reason why 10 years ago I decided that I would uh, switch to only working on electric racing instead of, I left the world of Formula One and combustion engine 10 years ago and I started doing electric. It's because actually I saw that on the long run, the performance levels was going to be better than combustion engines.
Right.
It's not the case
Mm-hmm.
just yet. I think on pure performance, you can argue that electric cars are actually better than combustion cars. On pure
Mm-hmm.
performance, we see many examples of lap records being broken by electric cars. The Goodwood record is now always electric car. Obviously, we are working on a car that can break the Nürburgring record as an electric car against a hybrid. So the performance level over a short period of time is better on electric. And I knew that was coming. We could see all that coming. The question mark is how does it look like over an hour and a half
Yeah.
of racing like Formula One? And yes,
Yeah.
it's not at the level yet because the energy management of how we get the energy into the car, that's to again be consumed by the electric motors. That's where the limitation is. We cannot run at that speed for more than 10, 15, 20 minutes. But again, I really want to say that it's a matter of time. It's coming.
Right.
The technology is evolving really fast. So think of it as the combustion engine has got 150 years of development and has reached its peak more or less, you know, 20 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But the electric powertrain has only got 15 years of development, and the development is rate is really high at the moment. So it's gonna it's gonna overtake the traditional powertrain solution soon.
Right. I'll actually just go back to the point that you made. What is that, or the limitation in converting the power that we get from the electric motors to the tarmac? Like, you can be technical, but at the same time, a bit easy words so that our audience can actually understand and even I
Yeah,
can understand.
yeah. It's already better than traditional. So with a combustion engine, you have fuel. Fuel is your energy storage,
Yeah.
and by the time you put it in the engine, burn it, go through the gearbox to the wheel, the actual amount of energy that's been used to really move your car is only about 35 to 40%.
Is that the thermal efficiency that
It's thermal
is
efficiency,
being
mechanical efficiency. There's losses
right,
through the
right,
exhaust as well is, the exhaust itself is hot gas going out. That's thermal. Obviously, the
yeah,
engine gets hot. We're cooling it down, so that's thermal. And then there's a lot of friction in traditional engine, so there's a lot of
right,
mechanical losses.
yeah.
So the car gets really hot and
I think
exhausts hot gases. So there's a lot of losses.
the Mercedes, the F1 team, in 2016 or 2018, I'm not quite sure, they shared this achievement that they had achieved a thermal efficiency of 50%, I believe.
I think no,
And that
that's
was,
right. Yeah, they've made progress also because the cars are hybrid, so the electric's
yeah,
coming in.
yes, yes.
So the way they do it is they recover some energy through the exhaust, even though that's not happening next year. But they have the
Hmm.
kinetic energy during braking that's recovered. So some of it, the efficiency
Right,
is then a factor of using that as well. So,
right.
but yes, also the engine itself has gone better. So they at a maximum they will achieve 50%
Yeah.
efficiency. So half of the energy is lost into heat and into the atmosphere. When it comes to an electric car, this is much better. We are at about 85%
Right.
of the electric energy we have stored in the battery. By the time it's used at the wheel, we've only lost about 15-20%. The battery gets
Hmm.
hotter, so the battery's got an efficiency of about 90%, so we lose 10% in the battery as it is charged at high rates. And then we lose in the motor, we lose maybe another 5% in the gearbox, we use some as well. So in total, we use maximum of 15-20%. So you can see that the efficiency is already better. Um,
Right.
but most of all, the losses are not CO2 gases. It's pure heat in the electric car. So we are not ejecting any CO2 as well.
Hmm. Okay, understood. Those are the two complex things. So let's talk about what's happening in the motorsport world. And I would I would just go ahead with Le Mans, as they are the innovators, since the inception of the sport, really, of motorsport. So Le Mans have, so they have, committed to a 30% reduction in CO2 emissions by 2030, and F1 have committed to become carbon neutral an entity by 2030. And Le Mans are already running their cars, which is the WEX series. They're already running their cars entirely on like renewable fuels, which is the biofuel. And F1 will be implementing from next year. So, do you think this kind of top-down like sustainability approach or the target is something all premier series should achieve or follow like ourselves, or do we have to find our own way of achieving this the target of sustainability?
I think the way F1 is doing it with biofuels or sustainable fuels, I see it as a transition towards pure. I see it as a transition towards a pure electric world. We need to go
Hmm.
to an electrified world
Yeah.
everywhere. If we talk of houses, we need to stop using gas and we need to use electricity only to heat the houses. With the car, as long as we burn fuel, even if they are sustainable fuel, you still have CO2 in the equation coming in. The way they do it, the way they say we are sustainable is they are doing a carbon offset.
Yeah. Yeah.
So effectively, they are rejecting CO2 and they're offsetting it in the way they produce the fuel.
Hmm.
So overall, it's what we call net zero. But this is not what we call real zero. So real
Yeah.
zero is we don't have any CO2 in the equation
At all.
during the
Yeah.
full cycle. This is not what
Hmm.
they are doing. What they are doing is, creating a problem and burying it back into so I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's bad. I'm saying it's a transition.
Transition.
This is not the long-term solution that we should see. The
Right.
long-term solution is an electrified world, and people know it, and we are going there.
Now, so on the contrary, the arguments that we see for the electrified approach is that what does the making of a battery cell itself include? Because that is where most of the CO2 or the pollution is being produced in order to make a battery, and after that stage is where it's completely green. So how do we mitigate that particular approach or the process? Have we seen any progress in those areas? Do you have any ideas like in that space?
Yeah, a little bit. What I see, I can tell you what I see. I
Mhm.
see that obviously we know that currently some lithium ion batteries are using a lot of rare materials that you have to mine from the soil. That in itself it needs some energy somehow. So the energy used for the mining, again, that could be green energy and therefore it would be sustainable, but we're still using a lot of petrol for that. So yes, you're right. During the manufacturing process of a battery, there is
Yes.
consumption of of petrol and
Yep.
diesel. Now this is out of our scope. What we are is we are users of the electric power. The way the electric power is produced or the batteries are produced is something that needs to be looked at. One thing that I see that gives me a lot of hope is um, more and more we are trying to replace some rare materials with some materials that are more abundant. And
What are those materials, if
so,
you know?
for example, I'm hearing there's a lot of development of battery using salt as opposed to other material. Obviously, salt is one of the most common you know molecule or product you can find.
Electrolyte?
Yes. Uh,
Might be wrong. I'm just, yeah, I'm just maybe saying random words from my childhood, but classes.
so
But yeah,
so
I
so
think
so
I think it makes sense. Yes.
so what I'm trying to explain is some materials that are rare and difficult to find, and also only can be found in certain countries. We're trying to replace them with materials that are more accessible and cheaper
Right.
to produce. I think what they're finding is the batteries don't necessarily have the same performance. It's not too far, but obviously the cost is much lower. So we are going also to find that from the point we are at now with lithium-ion batteries, there's going to be there's going to be high performance lithium ion batteries which are still going to use rare materials and are going to be expensive, and that's what we're going to use for motorsport. But more and more they're producing batteries with much cheaper materials, maybe slightly less performance, but that's going to be
Right.
the batteries that will be used for the more mainstream vehicles. And
Right.
I read things coming from China that are really interesting on that side. Yeah, and from America as well. So yeah, I think there are some really interesting developments. It's early days, the beginning of any
Mhm.
technology is not necessarily the most efficient, and then we find new solutions.
I know. Since day one, you have told me that you, whatever work that you do, you completely focus your 100% energy to that, and the reason I just like said this line is because I'm asking you the next question, which is, are you planning to not only invest in terms of money, but invest in terms of your brain power of researching and help maybe organizations to um, just find technological advancements in the making of a battery, and that ultimately probably could cement the legacy of parent Porter Ford. Like, has that thought ever arised in your mind?
So maybe in the future, but it's
Yeah.
really important to focus on what we know we are really good at. We we are extremely focused on developing the best racing car we have by
Yes.
going to source the best battery cells that people, very smart people in this world, are producing. I don't think we should try and do everything because we can't. Developing new batteries require a lot of investment, and our core knowledge, our core capabilities is creating the most amazing race team in this world, this amazing network that we put together the car that's going to win races using electric
Right.
power. So I don't think it's going to be anytime soon where we go to the level of developing our own batteries, but by working with really good companies on their own products, we're going to really
Yeah.
push them and
You're
incentivize
gonna
them.
learn. Yes, yeah,
We're
we
going to
do.
be able to be a really important platform for them to test new products. So what I believe is where Perrin 424 sits is we are a platform for these really good companies to come and test their products and showcase their products. That's going to help them develop faster. So we are part of this development.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this question just came to my mind because I remember just mentioning about Mate Remak. He shares so many things what he does, like just like you actually. I see a lot of like similarities between you and him. And he has his Remak batteries, and he does a lot of like developments and tries to just sell the drivetrain to other companies as well. And I'm sure those companies are learning from them. And companies like Porsche are doing it. So they are like the best of the best, and yet they need the help at the minute in terms of the electrification of their automobiles. So I believe yes, we could be the testing bed, moving forward as a racing team. And yeah, really really interesting times,
Actually,
right?
because you're touching on Rimac, and I'll just say one thing. And I'm really impressed with what Mate Rimac has done. Obviously, he's found his niche very quickly. It's really impressive how fast actually his company has developed.
Absolutely, yeah.
Clearly, is into the high performance sort of production cars business.
Yeah, yeah.
We we are not even there. We're into the racing business ourselves. Rimac is
Yeah.
not into the racing business. And interestingly, actually, um, the the batteries they're developing for high performance car with Rimac, they're not even at the level that we need. We need something even better than that, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's what we are pushing even further. What Perrin 424 does is really the tip of the pyramids when it comes to, because
yeah,
this is where we are. We are at the tip of the pyramid. I believe Rimac is is a level under because they're into commercialization of high performance cars. So each layer matters, but I wanted
yeah.
to just stress that. So yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Right. So now that we have kind of discussed what is sustainability and what's going on in the market and in terms of automobiles and even in the racing world, what are we as per in 424 in our own space, what are the unique like material challenges that we're going to face in terms of the battery and in terms of just building the car. I'm sure we are not doing it at the minute, but I'm sure 2026 is going to be the year for us. Is what I strongly believe in terms of just building that pyramid even higher by choosing the right materials to build the car, maybe the drivetrain, and what's going on in your mind right now? And if you could share, yes,
A lot
because
of
I'm very
things,
curious.
but it's very clear. Where we
Right.
are is very clear.
Hmm.
Challenge number one now is purely to find the resources to build the car. Today we have all of the technical solutions in place, which was not the case last year. We still had to work on the battery and find the solution for the battery, which we have now. So the technical challenges, and there are many, but they are very understood. We know exactly where we are going to source everything. As I said, it's about finding now the energy, putting the energy together to to be able to then deploy the project. But
Yeah.
to go with your question on materials, for example, but remember that I see it as layers. So obviously, if you think of the car, the chassis itself, for example, when it comes to composites, it's a technology that's really well understood now, and
Hmm.
we are not doing any groundbreaking thing. We are just refining our design to make it as light as possible. But the techniques and the material is very much what Formula One is using for the last 25 years. So we are not going to make innovation in the material there, but we are going to be extremely good and the best at optimizing the integration and the package and the design. When it comes to
Right.
suspension, it's the same. Actually, in the suspension, we are using more composites actually than a hypercar at Le Mans because they're restricted, but we're going to use a lot of composites. But again, this material
Right.
is understood. It's just a matter of putting them together in the right way. Um, tires, tires again is a known technology. We're going to use known products, racing products to the highest level.
Hmm.
So you can see from the chassis point of view, and then obviously the performance comes from the aerodynamics, but this is just defining the correct shape.
Yes. Yeah.
So there is no material specific issues there. It's just experience and design. When
Yeah.
it comes to the electric powertrain, this is more complicated because it's a new technology. Now, the way I guarantee the success of the project is I rely on using, so you can break it down to the battery, the inverter, the electric motor, and maybe the gearbox.
Yeah.
Um, to guarantee the project and the success, we are relying on, for the inverter and the motor, for example, we're relying on existing products that are actually racing in another series. So we are not designing the motors, we are buying them or procuring them and integrating them in the car. So
Hmm.
that in itself removes a degree of risk. The battery, we cannot use an existing battery because there's no battery in the world that actually has got the performance we need.
Yeah.
Or there is, but it's just too heavy. So
Hmm.
if today I go and find the battery that we need for the Nürburgring, the power level we need is going to weigh about 400 kilos. Uh, that's too heavy. I said the battery needs to be below 300 kilos. Okay.
Right.
I've got a target
Wow.
at 275 at the moment. The only way we
Hmm.
can achieve this is by researching ourselves the battery cells that we need exactly for that. And this, if you follow the post on LinkedIn that I'm putting out there, it's been the work of the last 6 months, quite intense. We are doing our own
Yes.
testing on battery cells. I am talking to some companies as we speak. One in America, Amprius. I'm going to post about it. I think they've got a good product. We're talking to some people in Hong Kong that have got a good product.
Hmm.
Some people in China, and all we are doing is really selecting the battery cell to be exactly what we need, and we're pushing them to give us the best they have. Um, and we have found a product that gets a battery at 300 kilos at the moment. So we have a 300 kilo battery. It means we are designing it. We are integrating cells from
Yes.
Hong Kong in this
Yeah.
case, and we're going to design it with them. We're going to be really careful. We can't ask for the battery, it's going to be too heavy. We're going to design it ourselves with them. Okay.
Right.
And
Right.
again, there's no material issues there because we're using aluminium and titanium maybe in places, but this is just it's a design exercise.
Design exercise. Got it. So what I understood is we have stones in place. We just have to connect the dots and at the end of the day implement it, which we are really waiting. We can't wait to get our hands dirty with it, right?
Yeah, it's coming.
Interesting, right?
It's coming.
It's it's coming. One small thought just it came to me was we we need to kind of write the history of our progression with the battery from where we started and where we are, and obviously we'll keep adding on to it until the final product, which will be in the car in its physical form, in our website. And yes, you're doing this on LinkedIn, but when it's there in one page, the progress that shows, and it's good marketing for us at the end of the day. So yeah, I think I'll remind you on that, and we can have a separate chat on that. So yes, I just want
You're
to put it
giving me
up.
some. You're giving me more work. But
Well, I'll try to help.
Gorang, my strategy is I believe in social media. I believe in
Yes.
continuous communication with people. I
Yes.
believe in posting. In itself, the post on LinkedIn serve as a database for what we're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to remind everyone that we do the same on perrin.com on a daily basis. Even more so, every meeting I have, every discussion I have, every research, and then people also in the core team are doing the same. You're doing the same. Are posting on perrin.com like on a social media platform. This serves as, first of all, notifying everyone of the work being done. It serves as a database to
Absolutely.
remember what we've done. Um, I'll tell you actually the way I want it to then be written. If we want to
Right.
look back at the development, soon we're going to look at plugging. I'm going off track a little bit, but it's interesting, I think. We're
Mhm.
going to use AI because I think AI is the best tool for that. we're going to basically, I think, use ChatGPT, put them on our database, and ask them to summarize what we've done on the battery for the last 2 years, for example.
Oh yeah, we have actually talked about this probably last month. Yeah,
Yeah,
a while ago. Yes,
that's the best
absolutely.
tool
Yeah,
to do it. So you don't need to worry about having people doing that
yeah,
for you. AI can do it. All we need to do as the core team is chat, talk, post. We need to post
yeah,
as we go,
yeah.
and
As
then
we go.
and
Yeah,
then it can all be summarized by AI in a
yeah.
nice way.
Because I was, kind of, worried about it. That it obviously we have it in our minds, and especially you will have it in your mind, the progress. But if we keep talking about it, and the keywords are going to be there in our the database, AI is there to help us out with that. So absolutely. So moving on to the next question. Um, at the minute, what's the balance in terms of numbers out of 100 between sustainability and performance? Today, on the 23rd of September, at the 2025, what is the balance? Is it 60% like sustainability is the aim and 40% performance, or 80% performance, and so on? And where do you see that shift go on in the next few years for you and even for the industry?
Um, it's hard to answer. I'm not sure I can answer
Yeah,
a number, but I will answer your question. But I don't see it with numbers this way.
right,
Number one reason we are doing what we are doing is we want to win.
right.
I'm not doing this only to save the planet, even though, of course, I want to do something good for the planet. But there, everything that people do to help the planet, there's always a first reason, actually. It can be because they want to win. In our case, we are racing at the end of the day. We are a racing team. Uh, it can be because they want to build a business that actually is more profitable. That's a great reason for doing things. People want to earn maybe more money, and you
Yeah.
find now cases where it will be more sustainable to do it this way. Um,
Hmm.
so I really want to say that when I started PERRINN, it was always to. It's really important for me to remind everyone this. I never started PERRINN to be the most sustainable team ever. I started PERRINN because I believed that I could produce the best car ever that could win against Ferrari and Porsche.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So the performance is never compromised when at PERRINN. It's all about performance first, which is why we're doing the Nürburgring first, because at the Nürburgring, we can combine the highest level of performance with an electric car, because the lap is
Yeah,
5 minutes. If the lap was 10 minutes, we would suffer more. Do you see what I mean?
right.
So the Nürburgring is
Hmm.
the perfect sweet spot
Benchmark, yeah.
for us to not compromise on performance, show the best performance we can, the amazing aerodynamic package we have, the software we have behind controlling the power, everything we've done for so many years. This car is so amazing, and I think people will only realize it when it's built, of course. Um, so I want to build the fastest car ever, right? And then
Yes.
I realize it has to be electric because electric, as I said, is going to provide that performance level.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
bonus is that it makes everything more sustainable. But I tell you what I think of sustainability first, before even CO2 emissions, because at the end of the day, it's just one car in the world. The problems are much bigger somewhere else. But I want to make the team really sustainable from a commercial point of view.
I was just gonna mention that. To add, I was gonna say how we work as a team. I feel that's where the sustainability comes in,
Yeah.
and the way we work and the way we communicate, the way we plan, the way we execute. It's absolutely brilliant, and that is what we should be proud of and continue. Yes. Sorry to interrupt. Yes.
No, thank you. I mean, what is sustainable? Being sustainable is caring about what you leave behind you.
Yeah.
That's the definition. So if you think of environmentally, what you leave behind you might be CO2 gas, might be you know garbage, might be things that is harming the planet. Commercially, you want to produce more value than you consume value, to make sure you're
Yes.
profitable, to make sure that the energy you're creating or the value you're creating is worth it. And the third one is socially, you want to leave something good behind you. So being sustainable socially, uh, for me, it means effectively we are creating more accessibility for people. We are democratizing access to motorsport.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
for me is leaving something good behind. We are
Yes.
creating open source software and design that when the car exists, it's going to go to all universities that are interested in motorsport. I know that, and I want that.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
so sustainability is a bigger thing than just
I know because
climate
I
change.
even since my early days, probably like 2016, when I just like started my undergraduate, and sustainability, it's everywhere, and I always like saw it as a philosophy. It's it's a way of like living. It's not like you just join a company and the company says we need to be sustainable from tomorrow, and like what does that mean? Like it's maybe things like don't like litter the floor, or just things like that is the way of living, and
Yes.
um, implementing that in every step, it's going to be much more impactful than producing the CO2 that is going to happen from the generation of a battery. Uh, I don't think that's going to be much of an effect, right? Because we are going to create a lasting impact with our team, with the universities that we're going to eventually work with. So yes, absolutely, like very well said, and yeah, I really like it. This is what we need to market and basically talk about,
Yep.
right?
100%.
Yeah. Um, so finally, uh, I think at the end of the day, we can close this conversation by saying, what are the lessons that blending performance and the green innovation that we're trying to achieve as PERRINN 424, that we can tell our audience. And I know you've been trying to do it through your LinkedIn and profile, and I would want you to take this opportunity and just mention what are the lessons that you've learned, and by going through this path of sustainability, or just achieving the philosophy of it, right? Yes. What would you
Yeah, I'll
say?
try and be succinct, but I'll try and explain that for me, game theories. So, the idea that you put a simple rules or principles in front of you, and you're gonna follow that follow these principles, with the belief that it's gonna lead you to the right outcome over
Yeah.
a certain amount of time. But it's not necessarily obvious at the beginning. So the game theory that I have chosen for pairing, because the outcome is we want to win against Porsche and Ferrari, and
Yes.
that's
The two
exciting.
giants.
The reason we want to win against Porsche and Ferrari is because we want to prove that there is another way we can win, and that
Hmm.
will also inspire people to maybe follow us. But the game theory for me is, um, if you are opening and giving access to what you do, then you're focusing on creating a network. If you're focusing on creating a network, you're focusing on creating network effects and the values coming from the network, and therefore you but you will earn more and win more, but on the long it will take more time. So the curve is
Yes.
more progressive in terms of growth,
Hmm.
but then it's unstoppable.
Yes. It's
And
like a flammable substance. The
but it
energy,
exactly
and
because you're not limited to your own resources anymore.
yeah.
Traditional companies raise capital, that's what they have, and that's their limits. Obviously, it allows them to accelerate certain things, they can force through things. What
Yeah.
capital does really is forcing things to happen very quickly. You raise
Hmm.
capital and then you pay lots of people and companies to do something that you want them to do. That's what capital does, but you're always going to be limited by that. Um, the pairing game theory is, we can grow organically with less capital to start, but we're going to get people invested, and our resources are going to come from the outside, and we're going to create this amazing network of resources that come together. Our task is to focus that energy into the
Yes.
into the mission. And we've got an exciting mission, and I believe we are going to focus the energy very well towards that. And and eventually the PERRINN network is something that can grow much bigger than even a Formula One team.
Yes, absolutely. Just that was I mean, you keep just surprising me with such it's the same goal that we always talk about, but like a different way or just a different perspective of just the game theory or the analogy, right? So really, really well said. Yeah, that kind of opened my eyes in terms of how do I view my life. It's just yeah, really, really
I
interesting.
don't want you to not sleep
Uh,
tonight.
no, all good. So Nico, thanks as always, for these insights and for sharing what your plan is for the team and for Parent 4 to 4. So the sustainability versus performance, it isn't just a question. It's a career-long journey for anyone who wants to race into the future, not from a racing perspective or a motorsports perspective, just in life, right? So thanks for listening. And as always, keep pushing your limits and racing towards the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Gorang. Speak soon. Bye.
Yeah.